Hi, everybody. Welcome and welcome back to Pittsburgh CLO's Close-Ups. I'm Olivia O'Connor. I'm the manager of new work development at CLO, and we are back and we are live this Thursday, February 18th, for our fourth of 5 special edition episodes of Close-Ups, celebrating the launch of Songs for a New Year. This is our penultimate episode. We're so excited to be here. If you are watching us live, please say hi in the comments so we know you're here. Please like, share, subscribe while you're here. If you're watching us in the future, thank you so much for joining. And if you haven't yet watched our previous 3 weeks of Songs for a New Year releases, I so recommend that you check them out. They are just amazing. You can find them on our website, addressed below me. You can find them on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel. They have been inspiring and a bright spot in this dark, dark winter. So I just cannot recommend them highly enough. We've also been having so much fun chatting with the creative teams behind those video releases each week. You can find interviews with the creative teams as well as their original videos on our website, Facebook, YouTube. And today we are joined by another creative team. This week, we are joined by the team behind No More Soggy Bottoms, writer-composer Rona Siddiqui, and choreographer James Washington Manning. Now, this collaboration is extra exciting because this is our first time at CLO working with these multi-hyphenate artists in this capacity, with Rona working with us as a composer-lyricist and James working with us as a choreographer, but we have had the pleasure of working with them before. Rona is the orchestrator of Untitled, which was scheduled to have its world premiere production in 2020. That's been rescheduled for 2021. We can't wait for you to hear her work on the show. It is fantastic. I also want to shout out that this month, Rona is creating and curating work at Ars Nova as a part of her Vision residency with them. And tomorrow night, she has a show premiering. It's called Rona and Her Sketchy Friends. It premieres tomorrow night. You can find out how to tune in below me at Ars Nova's website. I'm going to watch. I'm very excited. I hope you can too. And I also want to shout out James, who is joining us back. He was at CLO in 2017 as a performer in our summer season. You might have seen him both in the Heights and Newsies. Some pics from those productions here. And James is now the chair of the dance department at Pittsburgh Kappa. We are so lucky to have him here in Pittsburgh and so grateful to have him working on this project with us. You can learn more about James and Rona and all of their collaborators on our website. Their full bios are there for you to check out. But today I want to get them out here to say hello and chat about the song that you are going to see later today. It is a real treat. Let's say hi. Hi, Rona. Hi, James.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for being with us today. Thank you for taking the time to chat. So how are you both? And where are you joining us from today? James, I'll kick it over to you first.
Yeah, hello everyone, and I'm so happy to be here. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to CLO for having me and also creating this, platform for us to create during this time. I am doing well, and I am here in Pittsburgh.
Yay. Rona, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. As you mentioned, I have this Ars Nova residency happening and right in the thick of it. So it's been a really fun month in that it's gotten me out of my hibernating state. We did a cooking tutorial last week, and I had just getting me up and on my feet and engaged with the world a little bit. So it's been a blessing. So, and I am in Harlem, New York.
Nice. Awesome. It's so good to see your faces. I'm so excited to share this video with the world today. It has been making me smile since we received it this weekend. So can't wait. Before we get there, I want to just share a little bit about how this came to be. Rona, I want to throw it to you first. So I will say, when we pitched this prompt, in no universe did I think, well, obviously we're going to get a song back inspired by the Great British Baking Show. And I'm so glad that we did. And this song is so uniquely you, and I'm so grateful to have it in this lineup. Tell us how you decided on that entry point as a writer.
Well, I have been leaning heavily on the Great British Baking Show to lift my spirits for quite a long time, even before the pre-COVID.
Wow.
I've been just, it's one of those shows I'll put on when I'm falling asleep so that, It just helps me like calm down. If you haven't watched it, you really, really need to. It's very special as a reality show because the people. Hi, Steven.
Steven Weber. Hi, Steven. I don't know Steven, but he's saying hi to Rona. Thank you for watching, Steven.
Steven from Berkeley, NYC, from the power station. Yeah. So what was I saying?
You watch it when you go to sleep.
And it's a different vibe of a reality show because everybody is so nice and kind and helpful. They come together. There's camaraderie, and the score to this show is like a classical score, and it uplifts you. And I don't know if you feel this way about some reality shows, but the scores, I don't know, they make me want to put it on mute because they're just kind of like too. I can't describe. Too intense, too much, just too much. So when suddenly it just feels like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
So when y'all approached me to write a song, I was sharing Great British Baking Show with my family, who I was staying with at the time. They had never watched it, so I was like reliving it. We were watching the holiday ones and all this stuff, and we were always like talking with an accent and using the terminology. And so we kept talking about soggy bottoms, and I was like, oh, I should call my song "No More Soggy Bottoms." Wouldn't that be funny? And then I was like, that would be funny. So I just kind of I just ran with it and had fun, and it is very specific to the show. So but I feel like the theme of finding that thing that brings you a little bit of joy is the universal element of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's interesting because I wanted to ask you if you knew all of this baking terminology in advance. You were like, you didn't have to research anything. You knew what you were doing. And then
I still did. I compiled the list. But I knew everything already. I just needed to be extra sure. I didn't use like laminate in the wrong way or something.
Right, totally. Yeah. And I have to say, like the baking puns, metaphors, similes happening in these lyrics, just phenomenal. I've got everything to prove is one of my favorite lyrical moments in this song. It's a delight. And like I said, it's been making me smile since I heard the song and since I watched the video. And James, you captured so much of that joy and buoyancy in your video component, in your movement component of this piece. So I want to ask you, as a choreographer, how the song landed on you the first time that you heard it, and also just from a logistics point of view, how you went about capturing this piece with your dancer, Kaylin, and your editor, Sam.
Yeah, I actually...
we've got another hello from
that's
Kim,
my sister.
Kimberly.
Hi, Kim. Just capturing, and I think, Rona, you kind of tapped on this right at the beginning, leaning into something. So that show has been something you kind of leaned into. That is something that I agree with. I think we all during COVID, during quarantine, needed something to kind of distract us that maybe brought us joy. And in our initial meeting, I think I said this, I think we all thought of quarantine in like phases. So at the beginning, we thought it might be a nice break. We'll, be stuck in our home. We'll be fine. And then we became, restless over it, relentless, and then just needing something to bring us joy or to make us happy. So as I heard the song, first and foremost, and I jokingly say this, as you listen to it, it will be stuck in your head in the best way possible.
Absolutely.
So it really has stayed there since I've worked on it, day in and day out. But being able to just capture going from this state of like losing a bit of your sanity and then allowing yourself to lean into these things that do bring you joy, that, maybe it's a new skill or maybe it's a new, passion that you have found. So I think throughout this song and throughout this process, that's what I tried to convey the most. And in the video, as we watch it, I wanted the beginning to be very clear in, there's a lyric that says, the world went gray, I believe that's the lyric, right? And the beginning being very clear of that. So, black and white, if we, are kind of taking it to a literal space, but then this show allows her to feel, we just keep using the word, but joy again. So as she kind of clicks on the TV, it brings her world back in a sense. But I think that's also the beauty of us having, say, this time during quarantine. It allowed us to get creative and just find passions that we didn't know we had before. So maybe watching the TV show or watching the TV show and then trying it in the kitchen with our friends or our family on Zoom or however it is,
Yeah. And you captured this amazing movement piece in an apartment. Is it Caleb's apartment, the dancer's apartment that we're in?
It's such a cute apartment.
It is,
I must say.
So cute. Her plant game is like
absolutely.
really on point, I have to say.
Yeah.
Just some colorful rooms, which really helped. And that, you know, was the first thing I thought of. I'm like, oh, that location would be perfect, you know?
Yeah.
So.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Melissy! Hi, Melissy. So Melissy is our amazing vocalist on No More Soggy Bottoms. She's also going to be in Untitled in 2021, fingers crossed. And Rona, tell us about the process of like recording this from afar. I keep saying this every week, but it's so true. Like, you guys have done so much work because you're not just writing a song and firing off the sheet music. You're working with a performer to record at home. You're working with a dancer to perform at home. Tell us about that process.
Yeah, I mean, this is a whole new world for all of us. You know, like I have music directed, and that's a thing. But doing it like this, when you're developing a new skill of communicating online, and then your singer is developing a new skill of recording themselves, that's like a deep dive. Recording is not easy at all. You think, oh, I just stand in front of a mic. What kind of mic? How far? What does the room sound like? What's the levels? Like, I mean, there's a million things that you have to think about. And to not be there and help your performer is really, it's tricky, you know, to not be there live. But my gosh, Melissy is a trooper. I mean, she was so game. She, you know, I mean, you'll hear.
Yeah. 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 And one of the reasons we were excited to have Melissy's voice on this song is because it has this wonderful kind of stylistic surprise. And you think you're in one song and then it turns out you're in another song a little bit. And like we have this legit soprano kind of moment at the beginning of the song, and then we kick into a really fantastic, rich groove. And I would love to hear from both of you, you know, Rona as a creator and from the kind of putting on composer music lens of this conversation. So we talked a lot about lyrics. And James is a choreographer. That study in surprise and contrast, I think there's something wonderfully unexpected about the content and the form of this song that's really, really delightful. So Rona, talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, you know, I thought it would be fun because when you do think of the score of the Great British Baking Show, it does have that classical, very kind of like proper-ish vibe. So I thought I'd just do the bait and switch. You know, it's like, oh, we're talking about Great British Baking Show. It's going to sound like that world. And then I love just kind of like flipping something on its head. And then it becomes more her. This is who she is, and this is what she brings to it. But there's still elements of, like, I used a flute in my motif, even once I flipped it, and things like that. It's still there, it's still referencing, but it's in a different tone. Nice.
And James, on the video end, you talked a little bit about that transition from black and white to color. Talk to us about what was unexpected about this and what you wanted to kind of capture in movement that really reflects that. I think you've done an amazing job on this piece.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I really wanted, the viewer and everyone to see this drastic almost change from just kind of being, defeated, or, our sense of anxiety that we all kind of went through at the beginning of this, the unknown, and then as she kind of, as we'll see, clicks on the TV, it allows her world to kind of brighten again, and I think within the choreography and within the editing, that's something I just wanted it to be pretty clear, as I said, the black and white to color, but also even within the choreography, allowing little things like gestures as we kind of were, baking, how I kind of really worked with how can I create gestures that also show that we're creating, say, this end product, or maybe we have failed with the product and had a soggy bottom, but then we have a successful, dessert. But I think what's interesting too about baking, and even on the show, everyone has a different way of doing it. We're all doing the same thing, but there's a different way to do it. And then I also think of, everyone sometimes has traditions with their family, how they bake, and maybe it's a memory with a grandmother or a parent that's passed away or something. So I think also I tried to kind of convey those little things, and the joy we keep saying is something I wanted everyone to see. And there are moments within the choreography, I think it's her just realizing like this is something that allowed her to come out of that funk. That's all I wanted to convey, being in this and being in it and not knowing the unknown, and then this product and this amazing skill that she now has to carry on with.
Yeah. Baking as a process is like a good life lesson skill for
Yeah.
overcoming failure, right?
Oh my gosh,
you make
so
a little
much.
adjustment next
Right.
time, and maybe next time it will be better.
Mhm.
And so my final question for you two is, have you baked anything that you've been very proud of in this year-long quarantine? Or if you didn't bake, cooked, got takeout? What's been your memorable meal?
I would say my biggest failure is when I tried to make homemade boba. That didn't turn out very good.
Okay. Was it very time consuming?
It was, I had to make a dough. I had to roll the dough. I had to, and it's tapioca. It's a whole thing. I would try it again. Like you said, I think I learned some good lessons. I'm also trying to think of a success. I don't know. James, you go. What do you have?
Yeah, I'm not much of a baker, or even, I don't cook often. I will say I'll leave that to my husband. I leave that completely in his court. But I will say it's a tradition of ours. And that's what I said with, everyone kind of has a memory. Maybe they bake with someone or a family member. We do as a family make pizzelles before the holiday. So that is something that, even this year we kind of had to do in a different way, being masked, and just making the adjustment. So that's something that's kind of a tradition, and again, allowed a little bit of creativity or passion, with the baking and where it comes from for me and how I connect with it.
Nice. Well, folks, I'm so excited to share this video with you. You can listen to it in your kitchens. You can bop out. I hope it inspires you to do your own baking, and if not to do your own baking, then to buy something from a local bakery.
Yes.
And to turn on, the Great British Baking Show the next time you can't fall asleep, because it really is very soothing. Rona and James, I can't thank you enough for being with us and sharing this little snapshot into your process. Before we share the video, I want to thank, as always, Becca and Sid behind the scenes, who are running our control room for this show, our designer Steph Barletto for our graphics, composer Adam Ogrit for our theme music. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back next week for our final Songs for a New Year episode. We're going to be listening to I Remembered by Jillian Walker and Kassan Henry, with video production by Harlem Wood Studios. Going out on a high note. We can't wait. In the meantime, Rona, James, great to see you both. And folks at home, please enjoy No More Soggy Bottoms.
I never turned my oven on till just last May, with more bakes when right outside our 5 cafes, but they all closed and went away. I lost my job, the world went gray, my skull went numb from day to day. Nothing inspiring me until my Netflix suggested that I try reality TV, born from the BBC. It's the G to the B to the B to the S. Paul and Prue, they're making pastries. How hard can it be? So now I work out my feelings in my dough, and I beat out all my problems. But my rough puff is in a pool of fat, and I've got everything to prove. I laminate, lament my state, and keep my fingers crossed that maybe in 2021 I'll have no more soggy bottoms. Let's try a cake, yo. Jacond, a Charlotte Russe. I got this. I whip up a fluffy Genoese, load fruit into the batter, add 2 cups of Bailey's Irish cream, cause maybe that will ease the pain. More nuts, more booze, it sinks, I snooze, but all hope is not lost, cause maybe in 2021 I'll have no more soggy bottoms. Who knows bonds to save the soul? I'm like the cream in my Swiss roll, trying to stay chill while wrapped inside a stodgy hell. I imagine I'm in the tent, no need to worry about the rent. Your toughest test is not to crystallize a caramel. your chocolate doesn't melt. It gets hot in the tent, like 32 degrees. That's Celsius, yo. I learned all the conversions. I've had a lot of time on my hands. So now I give all my neighbors what I bake, and it brings us all together. Our bellies are now a rounder shape, but we accept this fate with ease. We whine, we cheer, we curse the year, and give thanks for what we've got. But please God, in 2021, let's have no more soggy bottoms. We use measurements to feel in control. We bind round each other like a plait. We search for the humor just like Sandy and Noel. We hold it together like Grandpa. May the sun shine down on your bottom.